5 years ago, the Kingdom Hearts series experienced one of its biggest cliffhangers ever. No, it wasn't Sora dying, even though that was a pretty big cliffhanger. It was the return of a scene that many fans hadn't seen in well over a decade from Final Fantasy Versus 13. The long cancelled Square Enix project that fans still obsess over, and Kingdom Hearts was the game to bring it back, or at least bring ideas from it back. We basically, in the secret ending, got a one-to-one recreation of the opening scenes to a Final Fantasy Versus 13 trailer that Square Enix until that moment definitely wanted you to forget. For those of you that are somehow unaware of what Final Fantasy Versus 13 was, Final Fantasy Versus 13 is what would eventually turn into Final Fantasy 15, but the ideas, the project, the story, the lore that was going to make up Versus 13 was mostly scrapped and replaced with a lot of different interpretations of the lore in Final Fantasy 15. But there's an element to this that is very different. Yazora is obviously not exactly who Noctis is, at least we think. We don't know what he truly looks like, and we don't know his real name, but just on the fact alone that this is in Kingdom Hearts creates a lot of different elements. Versus 13 was going to be a lot darker of a story, and Kingdom Hearts is obviously a more lighthearted one. Now, I'm sure Kingdom Hearts is going to tell some interpretations from this story, but I doubt it's going to be exactly the same as what Nomura originally had envisioned for his project back then. Because of this, I often say that Yazora brought back mystery to the Kingdom Hearts franchise. And he didn't do it alone, of course, but he's definitely one of the biggest parts of what's exciting about this new saga. We have still yet to see him in Kingdom Hearts 4, even though we only have one trailer. We're still waiting on that. Please, Square One. But I'm sure that at some point during Kingdom Hearts 4's marketing, we'll get a look at him. But I'm fine if we don't even. I'm perfectly fine if they just keep it completely under wraps and save it until we actually play the game, because that's the experience that matters the most at the end of the day. I want to just generally speculate and discuss my thoughts on Yazora heading into Kingdom Hearts 4, heading into the Lost Master saga, and what I believe the end goal with the character could potentially be. And as we dive into that, if you guys enjoyed Kingdom Hearts, love the lore, hit that subscribe button down below. Yazora is a very different character for the Kingdom Hearts franchise, which is what made him a very awesome secret boss to experience. I didn't really have any opinions on Yazora seeing the initial Verum Rex trailer and toy box, and seeing him in the secret ending, I was kind of just like, what? He's here? What does this mean? But when we saw more of him in Remind and saw him as the secret boss of the game, he is officially the secret boss of Kingdom Hearts 3, there was a lot of questions even in the cutscene leading up to a secret boss fight, which is something we don't normally get from secret bosses in Kingdom Hearts. It is rare that a secret boss has a lot of story and mystery attached to it. I mean, with Unknown in Kingdom Hearts 1, you got a slight cutscene that gave you little teasers towards things in Kingdom Hearts 2, but it wasn't anything super crazy. In Kingdom Hearts 2, you got this small little thing with Lingering Will, but he's mostly silent. And even in Birth by Sleep with Mysterious Figure, you don't really know what's going on. But with Yazora, you know this is Yazora. Even though he might change and be a completely different character the next time we see him, you know this is Yazora. We have a face and a name to put to this guy, and we got a whole 9-minute cutscene before good and bad ending. This was a complete evolution of not just Kingdom Hearts, but how Kingdom Hearts does secret bosses, period. Even analyzing his combat, he has these things that we're analyzing calling creations. He's able to steal your Keyblade, and they're setting him up as someone who might be on par with Sora's capabilities, who we know as one of the strongest Keyblade wielders, maybe the strongest Keyblade wielder, period, in the Kingdom Hearts franchise. I personally would say he is. I'm unsure how deep into Versus 13 or FF15's lore Yazora is going to be taking inspiration from. I feel like we're definitely going to get a lot of references and a lot of similar scenarios that we saw in early Versus 13 trailers, but we're going to get a lot of different context surrounding them. So I definitely think there's going to be a whole theme with the True King and the throne and all that stuff. For those of you that don't know, Verum Rex in Latin actually translates to True King. So we might see some sort of similar story, but Sora's thrown right into the mix of this thing, and he is still the main character. So that alone makes me think the story is going to play out very, very, very differently. Like, in the grand scheme of things, what is Quadratum? It's an afterlife for the Keyblade wielders, but does that mean it's just the real world to these other people, or are all of these people, like, in the afterlife? How exactly does that work? Is this actually a fake fictional world, or is this just another side of a coin? There's so many questions surrounding this, and this is the mystery that I love about Yazora and Verum Rex and Quadratum, and has me so excited, and that's why this 3-year-long wait for news is a little rough. But we're hanging in there. What's really interesting to me is, what if Yazora ends up coming to our side at some point in the story? I imagine Kingdom Hearts 4 might be a game that ends with maybe Sora being saved. I personally don't mind if they drag out Sora's being saved, like, till the end of the saga. But on the way to there, does Yazora somehow come over to the Realm of Light? And then you have the factors of how does the Master play into all of this? Because the Master in the Key Saga is all, like, at play here, and there's so many different elements, man. There's so many different branches this story goes. I'm unsure if this new saga in Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to go this direction, but hear me out. I feel like based on a lot of the themes that we've seen in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, a lot of the themes that Versus 13 was based off of, some things we saw in Dark Road, and basically a lot of the amalgamation of things that are leading to the Lost Master saga, that the Kingdom Hearts story that we might be getting is going to be covering a lot more of a gray area. Now, we've had gray stories in Kingdom Hearts. I mean, Kingdom Hearts 2 is a gray story, not just about light and darkness, but nobodies, the people in between. But it still ends up being a story where the nobodies are clearly the villains. Now, when we get to a villain like the Master, and why he's so interesting, is we don't even fully know if he's an antagonist yet. I mean, it's obvious he's going to be, but in terms of intentions, motives, is he the antagonist? He's taking this very roundabout way to eradicate darkness for good. And that's something that potentially the light would want, but is all the sacrifice and everything that he has to do to get to that endpoint to save maybe way more people, does that make him a bad guy? And I feel like that gray and that sort of like thought that it could go either way might be something that we tackle into a lot deeper instead of just covering it at a surface level in Kingdom Hearts 4 and the Lost Master saga, because these are themes that we saw in Versus 13's trailers, at least from what we know, and themes that we saw in the Key saga are a lot of the things that people love those stories for. And this more psychological approach to Kingdom Hearts' story, I think is something that a lot of hardcore fans have already appreciated by analyzing the lore and like the deeper narrative elements of Kingdom Hearts that a lot of fans who played the game for the first time maybe won't see. I think that stuff might be rising up further to the surface when we come to the Lost Master saga, just based on what we've seen previously in the story. Now, that might be a shot in the dark, but I think Kingdom Hearts and the series director Tetsuya Nomura is very aware that a lot of the hardcore fans, a lot of people who have still been playing Kingdom Hearts, a lot of the people who have been waiting eagerly for news on Kingdom Hearts 4, a lot of them are older now. A lot of them are like at their college age or like reaching their 30s. A lot of people like who are playing Kingdom Hearts nowadays is a mix of not just like kids and younger audiences who get into the game for the first time, but a lot of older teenagers and adults who feel like that light and darkness way you viewed the world as a child is a lot more gray now. So essentially what I'm proposing is that maybe we're getting a story that tackles themes that are a little bit more representative of the audience that Kingdom Hearts now has, which is a mix of not just children, but also adults. So a story that does both. Even with me saying that though, I do think it's important that Kingdom Hearts does stay true to its simpler themes and narratives, but also tackles its more psychological and like gray areas in a very like important way. Sorry if the tangent didn't make any sense, but hopefully it made sense to a couple of people. I can't wait to see how Kingdom Hearts evolves into the future, and hopefully that future comes a lot sooner than people are thinking. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Prodigy, and remember to be nice, be safe, and take care, everyone.